Alison Rosen. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Alison, with her good times never end. Alison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Alison Rosen, Alison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone, hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Alison Rosen is your new best friend. I'm very excited to welcome back to the show a household name, someone you probably grew up with or have recently fallen in love with, or I don't know. There's all sorts of permutations for why you might be in love with Bob Saget, but you know him from Full House, Fuller House, Entourage, America's Funniest Home Videos, How I Met Your Mother. He wrote a book called Dirty Daddy, and now he has a hit podcast, which I just had the pleasure of being on, called Bob Saget's Here For You. And I feel like maybe he was in the Drowsy Chaperone on Broadway. Hello, Bob Saget. Welcome.
Hi, Alison Rosen. Thank you.
How's it going?
It's really good because I get to talk to you, and we're doing the podcast exchange program.
That's right. Yes, we just recorded your podcast, and now we're doing mine, and we are warmed up. We're tired.
We're exhausted. You have a little cough. That's not anything.
It's definitely not anything. Don't be alarmed by it.
Not at all.
So, Bob, your decision to start a podcast, tell me about that.
Well, it was interesting. I was doing stand-up, and I felt a lot of people upset in the audience and, just at each other a bit. And I always have a diverse audience everywhere I go. And I wanted to bring people together, and it just felt like the right time. And I mentioned it to my agent, and then we figured out what company I was going to go with. And I wound up with Studio 71, who I love very much. And I was in studio. We did a couple episodes in studio, and I went, "Oh, this is going to be fun. I'll drive into their offices and go in studio." And then after 2 shows, they said, "Oh, we're on lockdown," and they brought the podcaster board to my home, and that was it. I just started recording from home and doing what you're doing, which is Zooms. Mm-hmm. And it took me a couple shows to figure it out, but I've been, one of my first jobs was on the CBS morning show, which was on against Good Morning America and the Today Show. So I was kind of broadcasting when I started. So, I've always dabbled, but this is, I really love it because it's conversations. Mm-hmm. And, it's like I'm here for you and you're their new best friend, so it's being accessible.
I was here first, and now you're like doing my thing.
I did not want to be their best friend. I wanted to have an interaction with them, and then we move on.
I see. You're like one and done.
Right. But I'm a one-night stand podcaster. I actually love it. And I do have things that happen when I sometimes call people once a week on my podcast. And I do have things where I have connected with them. One guy does a podcast in London. And so he was on my podcast because he called in, and I'm going to do his podcast. There are connections that get made. But when I talk to you, it's like when we're able to see each other again, when life is a year from now or whenever it is where we're all out and about, and you say, "Hey, I'm not doing Zooms anymore. Come to my home, and we're going to do this." So you start to feel like we're friends. It's funny. After you did my podcast, I was telling the audience, or the people listening, that, we're friends, but then I went, wait a minute, don't push Bob. Don't say that you're friends. Just say that we're acquaintances plus, because we don't hang out or anything, but we know each other and we're comfortable talking to each other. So that's something that I love about doing this. And I have gotten closer with people from having them on the podcast.
That's kind of the amazing, weird thing about podcasts is that you jump in with someone who in regular life you don't really talk to. I mean, you and I exchange DMs and tweets and stuff every now and again. But no, we don't hang out. But I hope we will someday. But
there's a double date in our future.
Thank you. But you jump in and all of a sudden you're having these really meaningful conversations. I love it.
Right. And that's what great, you look at the people that have been the best broadcasters. Howard Stern became one of the best interviewers of all time. And I mean, it's a wonderful, warming format. It was free radio, and then it turned into satellite radio, and then podcasts were coming up at the same time as satellite radio was coming up. And you've been doing this for so long, and I feel like I've been doing it anyway. So it's like it's not a big step for me, but it is in some ways because it's this machine that runs itself, and then you realize, oh, I'm on 60 episodes. I'm a newbie, but it's still significant because that's it's nice. I like people that I didn't know I had a connection with that I'll ask on Twitter, and all of a sudden Jake Tapper is on my podcast, and our mothers worked together at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and my mother would tell Jake's mother that my Bobby's going to be very successful in show business. And he said he used to hear stories about me when he was young.
I listened to your episode with Jake Tapper. I love that you guys know each other. It was such a good episode. And there was something you were talking about with him that I wanted to ask you about. I do still want to circle back and ask you more questions about your podcast, but I'll just jump into this. So you guys were talking about news fatigue. I feel like fatigue is a theme of you and me today.
That is, well, I think we're all, I hate to say this, it's going to sound really gooey and woo-wooey, but we're all connected, and we're all part of even the people that are really angry, no matter where they are, and they're mad and they're hurting or they're sick or they're just angry people who were abused by their dad and yelled at him, their son, so the son,
right,
just wants to get a flamethrower, and a funny car or a truck and, I don't know, tailgate. Tailgating in COVID tonight at 9. But, we are under fatigue. We're under stress of the media, stress of life. But this is wonderful. And talking to Jake, I was concerned for him. And because Lawrence O'Donnell's a friend of mine.
Look at that.
And I had him on the podcast, and I'm concerned for him. And people go, wait a second, these guys are, I'm even concerned for, I was watching John Roberts on Fox, and he had a meltdown. He said, I'm sick of this,
Oh, yes, I saw that. That was like a powerful moment.
He wants to give facts, and every network has their agenda that you have to follow. And then Chris Wallace will come out and go, but this isn't true. This is what's happening. So you have a journalist that's employed by the Big Brother, and you want to, the people that, yes, there are people that are just giving us propaganda fed messaging. And then there's other people that are really, truly journalists.
Right. Sorry, go ahead.
And compassionate about what's going on.
So you and Jake were talking about just wanting the truth. If someone would just come out and say the truth. And you were saying that you really don't like when people aren't truthful. You really don't like hearing lies.
I was lying when I said that.
I relate a lot to that, though, because when I'm getting conflicted messages, I feel it in my body. I don't always know immediately, and I don't start with, oh, that person's lying. Instead, I'm just like, why am I confused? I have a very visceral response to bullshit. Where does it come from in you, do you think?
I lied a lot as a kid.
Really?
And I lied. Yeah, I probably lied till I was about 40.
Huh.
I'm 64. That means I spent a lot of time lying. I would cover up things that I had done that I'm not happy I did, or I would just omit. By omitting, are you lying? By evading an answer, which we've been watching a lot on the news.
Right.
You're not answering the question, but sometimes people don't have to answer the question. I just had an interview. I was trying to promote my Scleroderma Research Foundation benefit, October 18th, srfcure.org. But I was promoting it with a well-known newspaper, and they tend to go for the juicy tabloidy stuff. And they were asking me questions like, I don't want that to be in the headline. So then because that's not, why are you doing that? I'm talking about a disease my sister died from. but it doesn't sell anything.
What kind of stuff were they asking you about, or do you not want to say?
I don't want to say because the person was kind enough, and I know the person, the reporter, the writer, sorry. And it was conveyed that if they're going to lead with that or mention it, that certain topic, that I please don't run it. I'd rather you not run it. I'm fine with it. I'll talk to you in the future, but I'm just not in the mood.
Right.
I'm just not in the mood to not just get the sincere message out. And so it's a righteous indignation, I think, that a lot of us are having. And a lot of people on all the networks are fed up. And it doesn't matter if they agree with my thoughts on anything, but they're fed up. I hate to say the right and the left, but that's how people look at it, because they're doing it as though you're a passionate Yankee fan and, the Red Sox. So they hate each other. When Boston and New York go at it in baseball, sometimes people can be just flat out violent over it. And I'm passionate about baseball sometimes. And my mom would say, I just want both teams to be healthy, and that's how I look at this. I just want both sides to be healthy, and that means mentally healthy too. And so I have a real problem with hate rhetoric, and I hate hate. So that's a positive. If you cancel hate.
So what made you stop lying or omitting?
It's exhausting to cover your tracks. It's really exhausting, but we're in a world right now where, we watch the president lie, and then the president says the next day, says a teleprompter reading of the opposite. Not lately, of course, but maybe now. I don't know what's happening this minute. Everything changes every 6 hours. But it's bullshit. It's garbage.
Yeah.
And his supporters say, well, of course he's going to lie. I mean, they're all lying. And there's truth to that. Yes, both sides are evading answers, but, flat out lying when it comes to people's health and the reality of what things are, not that, cortisone, prednisone is the solution. It's a Band-Aid and it's temporary. I'm concerned of his health, because once that stuff wears off or you can't take it anymore, or if he keeps taking it, that's really bad for you. So
right.
I have issues. I don't want anybody to die,
That's very magnanimous.
Am I lying?
Are you? So
No, but sometimes in the day you have those thoughts.
Yeah.
And, revenge is not as satisfying as you would think it would be. Like somebody that screwed me over in show business really bad, a couple people here and there, and then I see that they're gone. They've been canceled, or they're decayed, or they were a producer that died with no money, or they died wealthy but nobody loved them, and and they hated me, or they kept me from doing something and chose someone else who was bad, or whatever crap people hold on to, who screwed them over. The revenge is, I guess it's sweet for some people. I mean, I guess some people somewhere in bars are toasting and going, yeah, he's dead. Hooray. I just don't operate that way. I look at it all as a human tragedy, and then I want to see people grow and evolve. But that's really hard, because the human race is very seriously flawed. Like, some people have 6 fingers. I don't know if you know that.
Like cats?
Yeah. Cats have 6 fingers. I'm glad they don't have fingers. Cats.
Right.
How many
Think
cats
what they
do
would
you have?
do. I don't have any.
Didn't you have a cat?
No, I have a dog. And I remember, but I remember you commented on how there was dog fur all over my shirt.
Yeah, I needed a Benadryl. I needed to take
did
a
you?
Benadryl. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it's just, I just have a dog that sheds.
What kind of dog is it?
She's a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
Oh, that's what I had.
Oh, really?
My dog Alan, there's a picture of him up there I could tilt over.
Tilt. Let's get your tilt on.
I'm wired. Hold on.
Oh.
I'm wired for you. Over there is a picture up there.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Of
Alan.
Cavalier King Charles. My daughter painted that. And
That's
the
beautiful.
one above it is my dad. And my dad was shooting grapes out of his nose to make everybody laugh. And the grape hit Alan, the King Charles Spaniel.
Oh, no.
I don't know why. I love King Charles Spaniels.
They're really sweet.
I don't know. Oh, they're the best. he died at 9 years old, sadly, of cancer. So I had to take him for chemo and radiation, and it's really a hard thing to do. You make a choice and do that, and he had kind of a quality of life, but it was pretty selfish in a way. I thought we could cure him. There's always that hope.
It's so. Our Wendy, that's our current Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, is our second. We had one before her named Oliver, who we didn't have children at the time. So Oliver was like our baby. I mean,
absolutely.
Our bond with this dog. We are totally bonded with Wendy. We love her. She's our dog. But Oliver was like our son.
Sounds like Oliver is the one, and Wendy's just here to be a placeholder.
She's got big paws to fill. Yeah. So,
how old did Oliver live?
Well, it's a sad story. He was attacked by another dog. Yeah, he was 1 when he died. We lost him as a puppy.
What?
It was really awful. And
this is horrific.
Yes. And we had so much trouble. Like, I was just so bereft for so long. I saw a little sign for like a pet loss support group,
Right.
At the vet. And so I started going to this group, and then I brought my husband with me sometimes.
Sounds like a sitcom. It sounds like
I know. It really does.
It's a Schitt's Creek kind of thing.
It really is. I mean, there was someone in there who was really sad because he had stepped on his beloved cockatiel. Oh, God.
Oh, I had a cockatiel.
I
knew
did
you were going to
too.
go. I knew you did?
Yeah.
We talked about this.
Did we?
We did. Mine was Caesar. He lived 14 years. Who was yours?
Mine was Allie, and she lived like 8. I can't remember how long she lived.
My mother.
Wait, did you say 14?
Yeah. And he sang Hava Nagila. He whistled Hava Nagila and Hello Dolly, because my mother's name was Dolly.
Uh-huh.
And then he would say, "What's the matter, boy? Hello, Bubala."
Oh, wow.
And then one of my sisters hated him and taught him to say "fuck you."
Mine never talked. I think the females don't talk as much.
No, they or have those red orange cheeks.
Right. Oh, I feel like but I remember I bought a cassette. It was like, "Hello, baby. Hello, baby." Hello, baby. And it was like you
should do voiceovers, animated voiceovers. That's
Thank you.
amazing. What is that? Is that a Teletubby?
And you were just supposed to play the cassette like in a room with the bird, and it was supposed to teach to talk, which she never did. But anyway, I know what I was going to say. Back to the pet loss support group, and then we can move on to something lighter. The pet loss support group. Everyone in there felt guilt. If their dog or cat or bird, it was just dogs, cats, and one bird, had died of a natural death at like 19, or someone had, put their sick dog to sleep at 12, or whatever it was, whatever the circumstances, they felt guilt. So what you're saying about feeling like it was selfish of you to keep your dog going, like that is, if you had decided, I think that, the dog quality of life is deteriorating, we should put the dog to sleep. If you had done that earlier, you would feel guilt about that. Like there's just no getting out of it without guilt.
No.
I think.
I would like to go to that pet support group and just get a pet as a joke, like bring a hamster. And, or after he passes, just bring him in a shoebox, and just say, sounds like a bit on Jackass or something. It sounds mean.
I know. I mean, that's
pet.
like,
you don't want to bring a dead pet to that group.
Probably not. No.
Here's my sparrow. You just find something. You find a dead rat in your yard and bring it in.
Right. Like how I've always found taxidermy to be creepy. How do you feel about it?
It's fine with human beings, but I have a problem with animals.
I draw the line at roadkill. But that's something.
My dad used to actually say, sorry to interrupt, my dad, and I have to finish because it's crazy. My
You have
dad
to.
used to joke when he didn't like somebody, like his brother-in-law, my Uncle Danny, who was not a good man at all, a bad man. And my dad said that when he passed away, that he was going to have him stuffed and put in the doorway as a hat rack. And I said, well, if he's so horrible, why would you want him in the house? He said, just make him feel good to see his ex-brother-in-law, not ex, brother-in-law, deceased brother-in-law.
Deceased.
And just throw his hat on him, And he said he wanted to be stuffed, my dad, when he passed away. And I didn't do it. I just thought it was wrong.
You can't actually do it, right?
No, you could probably. No, I don't think you can pay somebody to stuff a person.
Right.
I don't think. But there must be somebody that did it. I mean, it's like mummies.
Right. Did you watch?
Somebody crazy people must do it.
Did you watch The Great on Hulu? It was about Catherine the Great.
I want to watch it. I haven't gotten into it. I just haven't yet. I've been going through so much. Do you like it?
Yeah, I liked it. We watched it, but there's like a stuffed, but in a lucite in a chamber. There's a stuffed person in that.
Wow. Was she just Looney Tunes, Catherine?
No. Her husband is kind of Looney Tunes, but I think this is like it's a very fictionalized version, but she's whip smart and on it and quite a female icon.
And who plays her? A very known person.
Elle Fanning.
Right.
Who's Dakota Fanning's sister. She's really good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. So Bob Saget, can we go back to the lying for a minute?
Anything you want.
Okay. So the lying, did you have strict parents? Were you trying not to disappoint them?
Very much so. My mother was like a lot of parents where didn't want to hear it. You know, if you were going to say that, don't say that, Bobby. But my dad would egg me on with his raunchy sense of humor. But the more she said don't do it, the more I would do it. So, but she was a good woman. She had a very hard life. She lost 4 kids all told.
Wow.
And so I'm the only one. And so I became, deified to her. So I didn't want to disappoint, but there were times where I really didn't like her because she kept repressing me. Mm-hmm. And we know what that does. That causes rebellion or sadness or mental health issues if you're repressed. But I've been fortunate, and then I've had therapy,
right,
which helped me. And so I did lie a lot. And then I would lie about other things throughout my life but it's just exhausting. You really can't, if you're really a moral person at the core, it's very hard to keep up. And all kids lie, and everybody, because who tells you not to?
Right.
Unless you get into Pinocchio, which is like my favorite Disney film.
Oh, really?
Because it's based on that. Mm-hmm. That's why it's Spielberg's favorite Disney film. Also, I've read because it's about one of the biggest things that people do. That is, and we're living it right now. We're living a lot of lies right now, and we all need the truth.
Was there a turning? Because you say that it stopped at age 40. Was there like a turning point? Did something happen? Did you bottom out, etc.?
Yeah, I actually I had like a mini meltdown.
What happened?
Midlife crisis of sorts. Well, a lot of things happened. My ex-wife and I separated, and that's one of the hardest things that you can go through. Also, the loss of 2 sisters. The other twins that my mother had were before I was born, and the hospital had dysentery, so babies died. But I never met them. But the boy had my name, and I was born 2 years later on the exact same day.
Oh my gosh!
He was named Robert. But
so it was girl boy twins, and they never made it home from the hospital. Oh, that's so awful.
A bunch of babies died. So it's similar to your King Charles Spaniel.
That's right.
Not having a chance to even live.
He didn't even. He didn't. We don't know what he was going to be. He was going to
be a love. Their love.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
That's why dogs are. I don't know. Okay, so it's God backwards in English, and then I wonder what dog is in every other language. Is it God backwards in their language? I don't think that happened that way.
No, because it's perro in Spanish.
Which is like a parrot. So parrots are like God. No, wait, that would be a dog. Is there a bird dog?
I don't know.
I'm like the kid in school that doesn't know any answers. So I lied a lot, and it got me nowhere. So now I'm the opposite. I cannot lie.
So you said that
liar.
You said that you had like a little meltdown, a mini meltdown. You separated from your wife, which was divorce, which was very tough.
Yeah, and it was hard on the kids. That was the hardest part.
Yeah.
Because they were young. They were 4, 7, and 9. And that's young. And, you know, don't even know who you are. I was married at 26.
Oh, wow.
So we had a 14-year marriage. And she's a great mom. And we are friends. Some people go, oh, we're friends. But it took a while for it to evolve into a true friendship. But we know each other, and, you know, and my wife, Kelly, is totally cool with it. And
Good.
yeah, I mean, it's like, it doesn't happen that often and it took a while. Life is difficult, especially relationships when they change. And a lot of people, I think, during this time, quarantine, they're like, people are breaking up, you know, or they love each other. I know a lot of people getting married right now. 3 people
Really?
in the past week are getting married that I know.
That's amazing.
I'm really excited about it for them because it meant that they spent so much time together that they liked each other more.
Right.
Or they just can't have sex with anyone else. So they said, oh, let's just lock it down.
They're just really loving the one they're with.
Right. I think quarantine could last 20 years. Want to get married?
To whatever extent you want to answer this, what happened with you and your ex-wife?
I think we just became who we were. I became more of who I was. And I just changed. And my midlife crisis is like 50 years long. So it's a very huge chunk of my middle life. I got to the point when I first was single. I'd never really been single because we met at 17 years old.
Oh, wow.
So she dated another guy for a while. And while she did that, we were still kind of almost boyfriend and girlfriend during that period. And I tried to date a couple people, but nothing really happened. So I got married at 26. Is that the baby crying?
Oh, that's you can hear that. That is my toddler singing Let It Go from Frozen.
That's so cool.
I'm hoping that the audience isn't hearing it that much.
No, it just sounds like a little chirping.
Okay.
It's
yeah.
cute.
He's very into singing Let It Go. He knows all the words, he knows all the movements. It's very sweet. This is the first time it's happened while I've been recording.
Does he sit and watch Frozen?
No, not yet. Like, not all the way through. He also doesn't really he'll say, he'll ask, like, what's happening now? What's happening now? And then I realized just how dark. And I thought Frozen was very good, but like, oh, the parents are going away. Okay, the parents died in
I didn't love Frozen. I think it's more of a girls' movie, I think.
Yeah. It's
Because
very...
it's about empowerment of a girl.
Right. It's very popular with toddlers of all genders. I don't know why. It is like, it's a phenomenon. Like, I remember I posted something on Instagram and someone's like, oh, he's at the Frozen stage. Like, it is a phenomenon that toddlers, for some reason, just love Let It Go. I don't know. It speaks to them. So he just wants to watch the Let It Go sequence. He doesn't want the one with words on it. It's on YouTube in both ways. So we watch Let It Go, and then he sings it, and then he wants to watch it again, and he wants to watch it again and again, and he sings every time. And it's gotten louder and louder. And my husband apparently just bought him a Let It Go sing-along microphone. And I was like, oh, we don't need that. We don't need it to be louder. It's already so loud.
Oh,
and
God.
Speaking of noisy things, my husband and I switch back and forth in the morning in terms of who takes care of them in the morning. And I was asleep and I heard a noise and I thought it was my alarm, and it was my son playing harmonica. That was a gift we didn't need. And I can say that because my husband got it for him. If it was a gift from someone else, I would be like, oh, thank you so much for the thoughtful, noisy gift. So he plays harmonica.
Oh, that's not the instrument to give him.
No. What's like a good, quiet instrument?
Trumpet.
Right.
Yeah, revelry in the morning.
Yeah.
Quiet instrument. I guess like a little banjo or something, but he'd pull the strings off. I mean, a little, not a banjo, a ukulele or something.
Right. He has one of those. That's tall. That doesn't wake me up.
You don't want a slide whistle would be wrong.
Yeah.
And you don't want a little drum or a cowbell.
No. Oh, imagine that. You know.
Well, all those Fisher-Price toys, when I was a kid, I remember them actually. The ones that had all, like the gym that has all the stuff, but there's musical ones. Then you hit different things, and it's like, the farm.
Yes, the thing where you tip it over and it's like, "Mrrr."
Yeah. And things you crank, and it's loud. It's so loud.
Yeah.
But kids like it. I mean, the adults can't just walk around whining. You have to let the kids enjoy. I hear that. You have a baby goat?
Hang on 1 second, won't you?
Okay, you going to beat him? So you were able just now to reason with him. You were able just now to reason. You were able to reason with him just now and say, "I'm recording," and he understood what recording means.
Oh, he understood what recording means, but he said, "I don't want to go inside. I don't want to be sing quiet." So
that's honest.
Yeah, he is honest. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Lying would be, okay, I'll be quiet, and then it just gets louder.
Yes. I don't think he's quite reached that stage yet. So we'll see what happens. I hope everyone enjoyed that little show that they may or may not have heard. I suspect they probably did.
I only heard you talking, and I did hear him retort with something, some kind of sound.
Yeah. No, I mean the singing before. The noise before. Yeah.
That was not that loud.
Okay, good.
That wasn't the problem.
Okay, good. So
I would leave it all in. I wouldn't cut any of it.
Really?
I mean, I'm just sitting here looking at my phone. Maybe a slight trim. But I think you should leave and come back.
Maybe. I like
Do
to
people not know this is edited? Do they always think?
I mean, it's really not very edited, but stuff like that.
Same with mine. I try not to edit it.
I try not. Right.
It's usually me that says something terrible, and then I say, please remove that one thing. It's really horrible.
Or I'll be like, shoot, I lost my train of thought. Will you take that out and make it look like I know what I'm saying? Like, I'll do that. I'll do stuff like that. I will, because I do my ads live, and so I'll flub a line in that. Stuff like that. Well, I'll have them take it out.
Right.
So back to your podcast, though. Bob Saget's here for you. So it wasn't something that you decided to do because of the pandemic. You had already decided to do it?
Yeah, I started doing it. I was looking. I did a demo of it, I think, in December of 2018. No, sorry, of 2019. What year is this?
I know, it's so confusing.
Before the next eclipse where all the planets align and something weird happens.
Right.
And a bus from space hits, the middle of the country. But a flying bus, that's my
flying
premise.
Space bus.
Right. That's the new thing that they're going to push. Space bus. So, yeah, I decided to do it. I was starting to do it, and it's something I always want to do. There's no reason not to do this. I love it, and I can do it no matter where I am. I can do it.
And did it start? I know that you call people, but then you also have luminaries such as like Alison Rosen on. Did it start?
Exactly.
Did you plan from the beginning to do both?
Yeah. At first, I thought I was going to do three things. I thought I was going to do monologues, and then I realized not everyone is Bill Burr. Not everyone can wake up in the morning, talk for an hour and a half, and be unbelievably clear and brilliant. And I tried to do it. I did it, I think, in the first episode, and then I tried it again, and then I went, I could do this. I could talk, but it's much better to have a true discourse,
right?
A real conversation. So that's what I love about it, is that. So then I started having just wonderful people from all different walks of life, and I had Stamos as my first guest because that's a prerequisite. John Mayer. Tiffany Haddish was great because I had actually kind of, I guess, tutored. At the Laugh Factory, I would do comedy camp on Saturdays with kids that were trying to do stand-up, and they were from the inner city, and some of them didn't have parents, and Tiffany lived in her car for a little bit. And I did comedy camp, and it was memorable for both of us. I hadn't seen her in years, and when I saw her at Jeff Ross's house one day, I just hugged her for like 5 minutes because look at that, to come out of where she came, and she wanted to be Richard Pryor, and she said that, and I said, well, do that without the drugs, but I like that role. It's funny because on the sitcom I would bark sometimes at playing the clean freak hugger, but I do love being a father a lot. And I don't mind if people look at me as that father figure. I saw a TikTok, because of course I'm on there, because it's so subjectively wrong to be on there just because there's spyware and whatever people say. But Dr. Phil went on there and said, I'm not your father. And so I did a split screen with him, because I don't mind, being people's father, not literally. I don't have a lot of bastards out there, but I mean, I people could use a good role model, and I've learned to be one. So that's, I think, as I've gotten older, I've kind of grown into accepting that's part of my role as a father and as a person. When I'm at my best, when I'm not a grumbly, annoying complainer.
Did you resist it at the beginning?
Yeah, because here I was, a dad on television with a 10-year-old daughter, and I was 30.
Right.
So nobody did the math, So Danny Tanner was 20 years old, and I'm playing the Richie Cunningham part, the squeaky clean guy. And if I was doing it now, I played a dad a couple times in different shows, because you look at me and I'm a dad, or a pretty brash, horrific person, that I've played in other things. There's no middle ground. I don't get it. I'm either a murderer, or I've played a murderer on several things. And you were mentioning Drowsy Chaperone. Have you seen that show?
Yes. When I worked at Time Out New York, I interviewed you for Hot Seat, which was our celebrity Q&A on the back page for Drowsy Chaperone. Way back when. You were in a car heading up to upstate New York or something. And we talked on the phone. And then I loved Drowsy Chaperone.
Drowsy Chaperone's a gift. It's one of the most beautiful plays. Bob Martin is so brilliant. He wrote it. He starred in it. I closed it. I'm a closer. And Kevin McCullum, my friend, produced it. Also Bob Boyette, who produced Full House. So there's no, and Fuller House. So there's no, it's a small business, And when you have relationships with people that mean something, they're real. And you work with people. I'm lucky that I get to work with people that we truly have affection for each other. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but I don't usually have disingenuous relationships with people I work with. I try to really make it count. And most people, almost everything I've done, I've stayed in contact with. A couple of projects have been so difficult, and the duress was so strong, that those are the ones where there's not always a good, mantra around. And those are hard for people.
Speaking of things that are hard, if you think you may be depressed or you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious, BetterHelp offers licensed online counselors who are trained to listen and to help. You talk with your counselor in a private online environment at your convenience. BetterHelp counselors have expertise in a broad range of areas, including anxiety, grief, depression, LGBT matters, family conflicts, self-esteem, and more. You can easily schedule secure video or phone sessions with your therapist, plus exchange unlimited messages. Everything you share is confidential. If for any reason you're unhappy with your counselor, you can request a new one at any time at no additional charge. I think that is so significant, because during this time, people might be concerned about starting up therapy with a new therapist. Oh, what if it's not the right fit? What if am I committed, etc.? You're not with BetterHelp. If you don't like your person, they will find you the right fit. BetterHelp is an affordable option, and our listeners get 10% off your first month with the discount code BESTFRIEND. Get started today at BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/bestfriend. Talk to a therapist online and get help. Are you intimidated?
Wait,
Yes.
can I address that?
Yes, you
that's
can.
So interesting, and it sounds what we need, what we overlook so much. And I've had so many people in my life. One of my sisters had a lot of mental health issues, and she died at 34. So it is so not. There's still so much of an onus on mental health, and people don't. They're ashamed, or
stigma.
Or they don't. The stigma, or if they have help, they don't want to stay on their meds, and people don't even forget meds. They don't even want to go to therapy. And they think I don't need therapy. And they just talk the ear off of their friends, and they do it with all their friends. And I had an instance where a couple of my friends said, I can't take this anymore. You need to get somebody. And one of my friends,
Oh, really?
said, I've got the person for you. And I ended up, I had one therapist when I was going through my real traumatic 40s trying to figure out myself and life and divorce, what led up to it, what follows after it. Anybody that's had it, it's really, really hard. And then I was at that place where you asked me at the very beginning, what happened? What was the meltdown? Mm-hmm. My biggest meltdown probably was in my 50s. Wow, everybody's younger than me right now. I just totally am older than the world. And I was I like to book my own stuff sometimes. Like I have people that do things for me, but I was talking to you off the podcast that I like to send the files. I like to do that. I like hands-on stuff because then I know there's no mistakes. Mm-hmm. And of course I have great producers, so there'd be no mistake. There's a leaf blower out there. Can you hear that?
A little bit, yeah. It just makes me feel better about my child earlier.
Do you want me to close the door? I have a door that I could close.
Yeah, let's see if that's any better because I am hearing
hold on.
it.
That's better, right?
Yes. Yeah, I don't hear it.
Yes, you have a door.
It's a good door.
They're going to come by. They like to go around wherever I am. They're like sneaking after me.
It's like paparazzi leaf blowers.
So later in my 50s, I had a real confusing time. I'd been through a couple of girlfriends, and breakups are hard. It doesn't matter. But nothing's harder than divorce or a long relationship. Meaningful one. You think it's meaningful, but it's a lesson. It's all lessons, I guess. And I was trying to book a flight. I like to book flights. Mm-hmm. It takes longer to tell someone, for me in my life.
Right.
It sounds like I'm hoity-toity, but I mean, I could have someone book it. But then I was on American Airlines. I was sitting there and I was frozen. Mm-hmm. I could not, the musical. No, I couldn't. I kept singing that song, but I couldn't book the flight. I didn't know that. I could not literally even put the date in. So now there's people that are listening or watching, and they can't function. Mm-hmm. They have hit a wall. We don't have the bandwidth. Things hit everybody, and we're watching it with the disintegration of well-known people that are doing things right now in our world, running things, and I just called my friend and finally called the therapist, and I started to go in and try to get to the bottom of it. It took me about a year to get myself back together again.
Mm.
Can you hear him now? I think he's just, I don't even think he's doing a leaf blower. I think he's just brought an engine over.
Just revving an engine.
Holding an engine up to the windows. But the therapist really, really helped me. And actually, I'm going to probably call him after we're done.
That experience of feeling frozen, was it like a panic thing or?
Yeah, it was multiple things. It was panic. It was just complete. And I think a lot of us feel it right now because of quarantine, just stunted. I literally am not going to go forward. Mm-hmm. It had fear, and we're all getting a lot of fear-based messages thrown at us right now, and we're scared because some of those things are going to happen, that we're scared of.
Yeah.
And then I just literally, I'll never have love. I'll never, are my kids okay? Everything. It just was compounded and became this big, difficult. But I've had a lot of hard times in my life. I lost both parents. I lost both sisters. A lot of relatives, a lot of friends, close friends died. And that happens if you live long enough. But they were young. They died.
It sounds like you've been traumatized.
I think so. So that was probably my PTSD catching up with me.
Yeah.
Does it sound like I'm sitting on a riding mower?
It is. Well, I'm just thinking what I'm hearing through my headphones is going to be louder on your side because you're recording. Like, is it loud? It's loud where you are, right?
It is, but this is a very directional mic.
Okay,
so you'll
good.
probably be spared. As long as it's tolerable for you. And they're going to stop. But I think people like that. It's a soothing hum.
It's
that
like
people
white
could
noise.
Use.
Yeah.
It's white noise. People will eventually. Oh, he's literally. I see his hat. He's literally right there torturing purposely. He knows what I'm doing. I mean, I'm here. I'm holding a microphone.
I take it personally because you're on my podcast, you know? I bet he didn't do this when you were on.
This shouldn't be happening. No, but they show up late and I forgot. I feel bad about it. And they're very nice people. Incredibly nice. It's going to go away now. Okay. I think this is part of the thing and you put it in the description.
Right, maybe I will.
Bob's fighting. Now we're clean. You have nothing but clean sound now.
Oh, good. Now we've got amazing audio.
If he comes back again, it's my mother's ghost just trying to turn the knife in my back.
The compassion that you have for people, your feelings for humanity, wanting to connect with people, you're being a moral person, a good person, etc.
It sounds so gooey, doesn't it? It would turn off every Gen X and millennials. Like, oh my God.
No, I'm Gen X and I like it. But no one gives a fuck about Gen X anymore.
No, I forgot. Yeah. What's the new one? What is it?
Zoomers, I think.
QB?
Zoom. I think they call them Zoomers.
There's pubies. Those are people that only have one pube.
Pubies.
There's scrunchies, people that are obsessed with tying their hair back.
Yes. I was a scrunchie in 8th grade.
There are scrunchies all over this house.
Really?
From daughters and my wife.
Now, are they current scrunchie users? Or scrunchies are having a comeback, right?
Well, I don't think they've ever gone away. Sometimes it would just be to hang out at night, just to hang out because they're soft. So they're not like a barrette.
Right. You don't hear a lot about barrettes these days.
No, it's really sad.
I grew up in a barrette time. A scrunchie. Like, I was there for the turning from the barrette to the scrunchie.
The 50s. I have pictures of my sister from the 50s and 60s where she had the pointed glasses, completely awkward, the dippity-doo hairstyle that flipped up, and Sandra Dee, people wouldn't know, but that kind of hairstyle, Patty Duke show kind of hairstyle, again, dating myself, which I did a lot when I was single. but the barrette would get the hair clamped to the skull. Yeah. It's almost like nailing it into your head.
Right. So what I was going to ask you, and then we're going to take some questions that people sent in on Patreon. I was going to ask you this like compassion and sort of open-heartedness. How much is that have you always been that way, or is that a result of the grief and loss you've experienced?
That's a good question. Definitely calling my therapist. My dad was like that. My dad was
your dad who wanted to stuff his brother.
Yeah, he wanted to stuff his brother, but that was out of compassion for all of us who had to put up with this not good pig. And you stuff a pig. Everybody does. Yeah. If it's Thanksgiving and I don't think you stuff a ham, you stuff a turkey. Well, anyway, he was both. But my dad cared about people so much. It was part of his makeup, and some people thought it was creepy because he was very funny, a very funny man. But like my uncle had a heart attack, my great uncle, and he was the other one was not so great, but this one was a great one. And we were at Cedar Sinai. My dad and I were in an elevator, and there was a lady there crying, a stranger. We hadn't seen her in the waiting room or anything. We'd been there all day because we loved my great uncle Bill. And my dad sees this lady crying, and he said, has anyone, it's really weird, but I'm going to say this. He said, has anyone told you that you look very lovely today?
Oh.
But it's really creepy if, out of context. But coming from a man that was in his late 70s, it wasn't creepy.
Right. He was just trying to make her feel better. The older they get, the less you think they're going to pounce you, because what are they going to do? Right. They'll have a heart attack if they attack. But I was standing there, and she looked at him like she was just talked to by an angel, and she made eye contact with him, and she went, "Thank you very much." That's very sweet.
It's the indirect way of saying, "I know you're in pain." And it's a way of taking someone's mind out of their pain to tell them that they're okay.
Yeah.
So there's an angelic quality to that. And that stuck with me. And it's so funny. People go, "Oh, God, I'm becoming my dad." Well, if that's the kind of person I become because of my dad, then that enriches my life. If I can be like that, an empathetic person who tries to make people feel good, says stupid stuff. I mean, he would make jokes at funerals of my sister. You know, it would be, people would come over at my sister's funeral, and the Jewish people have the Shiva afterward, which everybody gets the Shivas after they watch Frozen. But that's, I didn't mean to go off topic. But people would come over to my dad and go, "Oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to live without her." And then my dad would go, "Yeah, it's not easy." he just lost his daughter.
Yeah.
And then he would go, "You want something to eat? There's food." Norm Macdonald has a great story. He was at his dad's funeral, and it's complicated, his life. And I don't think he talks about it very much, but he had a bit in his stand-up about it, which was that he's at his dad's wake, and the body's in the living room, and he's looking at his dad's body. And a guy comes over and says, "Do you want a sandwich?" And he says, I don't know. I'm just standing here looking at a dead body. He goes, "Well, what do you want to eat?" "I don't know if I want a sandwich. I mean, this dead body, you know." So Norm is able to do what a lot of comedians can do in only the way he can, and look outside of the whole pain of the situation. And it's a survival mechanism. And it also helps to look at things. That's why comedians are so important, and I think treasured by so many people, is they're able to look at things from a little bit more even outside of the outside.
Right.
And go, okay, you know, at least we're not, you know, I don't know, in Germany during World War II getting bombed. No, but we're in our bunkers is the big metaphor of the time, and hunkering down, you know, all this expressions for this time that won't be forgotten. I mean, it is a war. A pandemic is a war. But you got to believe. You know what's weird? This is something that's been on my mind. A lot of the people that don't believe in science, their favorite movies are Star Wars and all the Avengers movies and all of the stuff that is the future. They love science fiction. Science fiction movies are the billion-dollar grossers. And so that means that all of the people that don't believe in masks, that don't believe in science, that won't take the antidote, what do
Vaccine.
you call it?
The antidote.
I'm not tired. I need the antidote. I'm Dr. Jekyll. I must turn back into Dr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde. Oh, no, Mr. Hyde's the bad guy. Dr. Jekyll is the good guy.
It's interesting because Jekyll sounds more evil.
It does. They made a mistake. It should have been Mr. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde.
Yes.
We got to talk to that writer.
We need to, I will find him on Twitter.
Okay. Is that Victor Hugo? It's somebody good.
Is it Victor Hugo? I don't
Probably
know.
not. I don't know much. I mean, I don't know much about learning in books. But back to that kind of a person that doesn't believe in science, but then Darth Vader, and here we are in a world where Darth Vader seems real.
Right.
And I don't know. And anybody that kisses his ass or he'll destroy them.
Yeah.
I mean, Darth Vader would use his will to run the galaxy, but I don't know if you've seen the films, but it you know, oh, right. Now he's young. Ah, damn it. I'm so confused where they left me off.
I saw.
Oh, no, they went into the future. Oh, yeah, they went into the future. Darth Vader is dead.
Okay.
In the
most
new
recent.
ones.
I'm not caught up. I saw the original trilogy. I saw the one with Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman. And then I saw one other one, and I think there's been two more. I don't know where I am.
mean, did you see the one with Harrison Ford as an adult, and the one where Carrie Fisher had passed away, but they went and were able to do all this computer generated stuff
No,
with
I
her?
saw the one before that.
It was quite beautiful.
Maybe I need to go see it. Oh, maybe I did. I know. I can't remember. I saw the one with Ray and John Boyega. You know what? I'll figure it out after.
I'm actually looking it up because you have
Okay.
to watch it, and I have to tell you which one to watch.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. It's with Adam Driver.
I did see one with Adam Driver.
Well, there's 2 of them or 3 of them. I don't know. I hate to
Maybe I
upset
saw A New
Star Wars
Hope.
fans. You need to see the Adam Driver ones, and you need to see the last one.
Okay.
So I can't go through all this. It'll take a year. But it was really, really strong. Mark Hamill. It's really special.
Okay.
So.
I'll see it then. So listen, I take questions from listeners over Patreon, patreon.com/Alison Rosen, behind the scenes content, bonus episodes. I do 3 to 4 bonus episodes a month. I cannot mentally commit to saying weekly, but it's essentially weekly because like this month I believe it will be 4. So it's weekly. You get Thursday show videos. This video though, you can see on YouTube, youtube.com/Alison Rosen. Please subscribe. I'm basing my self-worth on that subscriber number currently. And we have a song.
When we ask, they send them in. They're wondering how you have been. So thanks so much for answering these questions from our fans.
All right. Lisa Lowry says, question for Bob Saget. Okay, this is going to take some explanation. Do you have any lube friends? A callback to a Thursday episode where you decide the degree of friendship based on how you react to seeing lube out at their house. So I told a story about I saw like a bottle of lube just sitting on someone's nightstand, and I was like, I don't think I'm at the I think they had forgotten to put it away. I was like,
What were you doing in their bedroom?
We were friends. That was the question. What were you doing in their bedroom? It was like we were younger when you go over to people's houses way more often and stuff.
Okay.
So we were friends, but I still was like, my eyes, like, but so that was the question. Like, what were you doing in their room? And she's like, oh, so you were friends, but you weren't lube friends.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yes. So do you have any lube friends? Friends where if you saw a lube out on their nightstand, you wouldn't feel like, oh, I just saw something I wasn't supposed to see.
I don't go in my friends' bedrooms, but I would expect to see it in a couple of my friends' bedrooms.
Okay.
I have a gallon of Wesson oil by the bed. And we have a slip and slide also on the bed and a kiddie pool. So we're ready. We could do a
Perfect.
T-shirt contest and make corn. I don't know.
That's perfect.
Corn oil. We use corn oil. I mean, we by myself. She's out of town.
Okay. Celeste Riley says, and this also has explanation, does Ben Folds send him funny things through social media often? Background, I was at a Ben Folds concert in Seattle about 4 or 5 years ago, and everyone at the concert was instructed to laugh at a joke with there's like a word missing, to laughing at a joke with Bob Saget as either the subject or the punchline. Ben Folds wanted someone to post it to Twitter or YouTube. Is there a backstory to this?
Trying to think. We've been friends for years, and I've even gotten on stage with him and sung with him before. I did one thing where I was streamed into his concert on the screen, and that might have been it. I can't remember what the context was, but I know that we've wandered into each other's lives on stage before. Mm-hmm. But I can't remember the pure context of it. But I would say every time I've ever been around him, he has a belt canister with lube in it.
So he's a lube friend. There you go.
He's one of my lube friends. He actually wrote the song "The Luckiest" about how lucky he is to have lube.
It's of all the odes to lube, that's my favorite.
It's beautiful. They wrote that back in the Renaissance.
Yes, ode to lube. It's ode to lube on a lute. It's played on a lute. Okay, let's do some just me or everyone. This is where people send in things that they think or do, and they wonder, is it just me or is it everyone? And we weigh in. I believe this will come back to you because you've done it before.
That's cute. I have. I like this.
We have a song for this one too.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
Okay. Chode to Joy says, is there anything louder than pulling packing tape from the roll? Hashtag just me or everyone. It is awfully loud. It is like like the most staccato fart, like being ripped from a butthole.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Actually, if you're using packing tape as a waxing product on your butthole, you can save money. I think it's a just me, that person thing, because I don't really use that much packing tape. Is this person on the run? Do they like not?
Right.
Do
If
they
they
live
are,
in places like a month?
if they are, their packing tape is going to give them away because people are going to hear it. They're going to know.
If they're worried about packing tape, either they work at a USPS store, or they are UPS store, or they are moving and someone in the house is packing boxes. But you can't really be mad at that. That's part of the circumstance.
Yeah.
It sounds really just very, very single. It sounds like one person going through this. It doesn't sound like a lot of people are hearing packing tape all day.
They could, but we'll find out. Kills Frog says, "Just me or everyone. I wish Halloween lasted longer."
Yeah, but they kill frogs. I mean,
Right.
I'm not a Halloween fan.
No, me neither.
Why not? Why are you not?
Because I scare really easily. And so I don't like any horror movies. I don't like Halloween Horror Nights or any of that kind of stuff. And then also, I don't love figuring out and putting together a costume. So I don't know. I just don't have the bug the way, like, my husband loves it. My kids love it. Not me.
What about the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland? Isn't that different?
That's different. That I can tolerate. Although I did go through a phase where I was afraid of it. But I've been on that like so many times that doesn't
It's
really scare me.
amazing. I love all Disneyland things. Yeah, I don't like Halloween because as I got older, you're in costume. And it's like, if I'm going to be in costume, that's because I'm working.
Yeah.
Put on this costume. Okay. So I do it. I get to do it. But I don't. Some people love it. And you can't. I mean, I have problems with it. Like, I have a neighbor down the street. And even though people probably won't be trick-or-treating, I mean, I don't think they should. Some people will. We know the places where they probably will. Because I mean, as long as you don't come in contact with anybody, but I wouldn't want candy in my kid's hand coming from God knows where. Not that droplets are going to go through a Tootsie Roll, but we've already had enough problems with that. But there's someone down the street that must spend $100,000 every Halloween on decorating their mansion. And it's got everything on it. I mean, it looks like it's done Not Scary Farm or something. And I just go, please just give that to charity. Just give that. There's so many people that need help right now. Please don't do that to your house this year. And I haven't driven by, so I'm avoiding it. I don't want to see that $100,000 spent. I mean, trucks, and she's out yelling at everybody. I don't think her
yelling
husband
at them, saying what?
Unpack it. Hang that witch higher in the tree.
Oh, wow.
Those lights don't hit the ghosts right. And the graveyard it looks like Haunted Mansion. I mean, it's quite astonishing. But I don't know. I hate to be Scrooge-like on it, but it's about goblins and ghosts and witchcraft. And I don't want to go back to Salem where they burn people for being evil. They should just put them in jail.
I agree.
That's not the answer. That's not the answer you wanted.
I agree with you. They should give that money to charity, and also let me know where the house is so I can drive by and look at it because it sounds amazing.
I'll text you.
Okay. Leela Rolling Stone, just mirror everyone. When eating a hot dog, must apply condiments in a zigzag. When eating a burger, the condiments go in a spiral. No.
That's accurate.
That's not how I do it. That's how you do it.
No, but that's how it's presented, and that's how Snapchat does it.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
But that is how you do it artistically. That's how you commonly see it presented in a place. It's a famous hot dog place or a famous hamburger place.
Right.
I thought it was going to be more about how you eat the hot dog. Do you hold it in your hand and then force your head down onto it?
Not these days.
No, they just move it right up. The hot dog just shows up in your mouth. You didn't even know how. Then you wake up and go, wow, is Bill Cosby here?
Wait, how would you apply the condiments to your hot dog and
Well, I'm
hamburger?
pretty quick at it. I pretty much go in straight lines because I don't want the stuff to be all over the place while I'm
Right.
eating it. So I try to not put too much on either, and I try to get it to go into the bread.
Yes.
I was a deli clerk for 6 years, by the way. I'm pretty proud of it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing these past 6 years. No, I did it when I was 15 through college. I did it.
Did you like it?
Well, I did it through college, so I didn't have a college life. You know, I lived at home and went to film school and worked in a deli. So obviously, I'm multifaceted.
That's right. There
And
are a lot of people. Go ahead.
No, I have nothing to say.
There are people though who feel like their time waiting tables like really gave them valuable lessons and stuff.
100%. 100%. You know, being one of the best ones is to be a carpenter or something, you know, or to do, I don't know, to work with kids. You know, there's so many things that are so valuable that people do that they're going, oh, but I really want to do this and I really want to do that. But I did get valuable experience out of being a deli clerk. I mean, there's comedy involved. I was always on the microphone at the back of the store. I was getting yelled at constantly. I did crazy stuff. I had a lot of problems, but it was you know, the people that really do those jobs that really contribute, like when you find out someone's an actor or an actress, but they're teaching or they're a nurse and they're getting through life and supporting themselves with that vocation, but they really want to direct or act. It's like, okay, well, this will be invaluable for that life experience. There's nothing like life experience to help you if you want to do the arts.
You know what I wanted to ask you? This is unrelated to what we were just talking about. When you were last on my show, which is now, I don't know, a while ago, there was a movie you were working on that was about addiction.
Yeah.
Whatever happened with that?
That movie came out, and oddly enough, it was the company Redbox that has those red boxes. They wanted to become Netflix, and so they paid for it. And we made this movie called Benjamin, and it's really it was a very hard movie to make. We had a low budget. We had a 15-day shoot, but I had the best cast in the world who were incredibly patient. It was Rob Corddry, Kevin Pollak, Marilyn Rice Cub, my God, Dave Foley, Sherry O'Terry.
Amazing.
Max Burkholder played Benjamin, who was a young kid that we thought was on meth. And that was kind of the premise. That's why the movie got an R rating. There's really no language in it. I think there's one F-bomb. But I was directing it and acting in it. And I really...
Did you play the dad?
I did. And I wanted... And it's available right now. You can see it on, Apple, iTunes, Hulu. It's in all those places. And it came out in 2019. And it was a labor of love, and it took a long time to get it made. It took 7 years to get the thing made, to get it financed. And I had a good producer, Nicholas Tabarrok. And I love the script. It's by a guy named Joshua Turk. And, with movies, you really want to knock it out of the park, but it's really hard. So that one was a labor of love that it's one of my kids, I'm proud of it. But, it's not one that is on the tip of your tongue. So obviously it was a movie that some people liked and some people, I don't know what they said.
And some people liked and some people were wrong.
Yeah, well... everything's an acquired taste. If I had a do-over, there's so many things I would do differently. But with a budget like that and with the favors I was getting from the actors, Rob Corddry just wanted to play the part and wanted to work with me. And I think he still feels the same way. He's a special guy. Mm-hmm. And Mary Lynn is incredibly talented. Oh, and Perry Gilpin. Played, she's wonderful. She played my estranged wife. So it was a kind of a comedy with some drama to it, and I wish I could do it again, remake it, and use that as a rehearsal with all the same people.
I need to go watch this movie. I'm sure it's
cute.
Really
it's
good.
I don't want to say it's cute. That's never a good sign. When anybody ever says, "Oh, it's cute," okay, that's what I'm rushing for. But Max Burkholder, is really good in it, and it's one of those things that you're trying to do comedy and drama. So I still want to remake it. I want to remake my own movie next year.
Maybe you should.
No, I got
Not
other
really.
things. But,
Yeah, no, don't.
But don't, Bob. I saw it. But
No. I just mean don't.
no, it's hard. It's hard to act and direct in something, and I had such a large role. Also, I think I would have loved to have directed someone else, but it wasn't for the lack of trying. It's it's hard to get anything made, and then you hope it's really good. That's the hope. And sometimes there's little treasures, that come out. I've had a lot of people that just love the movie, so that's always heartwarming that they got it and they really enjoyed it. And it's a quirky movie. But
I'm sure I'm gonna love it. Will I think it's cute? I don't know.
No, it's actually it's got a dark sense of humor to it, and it's you'll let me know.
I'll let you know.
After you watch all the other shows. You haven't watched Ted Lasso yet, right? On
No,
Apple
but I
TV?
heard it's really good.
It's wonderful. Jason Sudeikis is just it's a love letter to strength and cheerleading and helping people believe in magic in a way. Not magic, but believe in positive. It's the power of positive thinking is what it is.
I need to watch Ted Lasso. I need to watch Cobra Kai.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean,
Oh, really?
It started hard for me, and then I started to love it. And then I was like, the second season, I'm like, when is this going to get good again? And then I thought it did. I'm not giving any spoiler alerts. It came in waves to me. And it's like, I mean, it's a huge accomplishment. I mean, it came out of nowhere. It was not on Netflix, I don't know what it was on. It was on
YouTube.
It was a YouTube show. And they're wonderful. What's the actor's name that played the head of Cobra Kai?
Zabka?
Yeah, he's so good. He's so good. And when he doesn't get a show that's focused on him, it's just not. And Ralph Macchio's he's such a sweetheart, So those two guys are what you're showing up for. And all the people work really hard. And there's some really good actors in there. It's just, I don't know. It's funny we all turn into critics. In quarantine, everybody is just two TV critics.
Well, the thing is, my husband and I, we don't have a lot of TV watching time. And we both have we both are jockeying for next time we'll watch this, next time, for our next series. So I have been pushing for Cobra Kai and he's not very interested. So maybe
he would like it, I think. I mean, did he like Karate Kid?
Yeah, but what does he want to watch? We want to catch up on Better Call Saul. We fell off with Better Call Saul, so we need to watch that.
I got to get on that. Yeah.
The last season of Leftovers we haven't watched. He for years was trying to get us to return to The Americans, and we did. And we've watched all of The Americans now in quarantine, and that was very worthwhile. Have you seen The Americans?
No.
Oh, it's so. Do you know it, right? Carrie Russell, Matthew Rhys. It was on FX.
Oh, I need to watch that.
It came out in 2013.
Is it a little like Homeland? Is it that kind of thing?
A little bit.
In fact, it's wonderful.
The guy who played Yevgeny, I forget his last name. The guy did you watch Homeland all the way to the end?
Yeah, what happened was I had never seen it. So last year, quarantine. Last year, that's where we're at. Last year, April, my wife did me a treat. She'd seen a couple years of it and watched them over again with me.
Oh, that's nice.
And we watched all of it, all 9 years of it. And we couldn't stop. Just watched.
I loved it.
It's amazing.
So the guy who played I can't remember his last name, but the Carrie's Russian friend who's sometimes not her friend. He's Costa Ronan. He's also in The Americans. I don't know how much I'd say it's not completely dissimilar, but it's really good. It's really good. So I recommend that.
A lot of people have told me. There's a lot. I mean, I just finished watching Euphoria, which is pretty hardcore.
Oh yeah, we watched the first episode. Would you recommend returning to it?
I would. I found it a very interesting series. I also really liked Brave New World.
Oh, I don't even know what that is. That based on a book?
It is. It's a series based on the book, and it's 10 episodes, and they do the book. And then they're talking about another season, but that's going to depend on COVID and all that stuff. But they have to write notes from Huxley, and then it's Alden Enright and Demi Moore. It's really strong.
How did
really
I
strong.
Totally miss that.
It's really good. If you have Apple TV, it's I just loved it. I just really loved it.
Have you seen or heard of Pen 15?
No, oh yeah, I've been watching it.
Yes.
We're 4 episodes in. It spells penis,
Yes. Are you 4 episodes in the first season or second season?
First season.
Oh, it's so good. We just finished the second season.
And are there only 2 seasons right now?
Yeah, the second season just came out. I found
they're so talented.
So good.
Yeah.
I loved the first season. The second season is good. It's a little more it's heavier, I would say.
Oh, good. Well,
yeah.
it started to get heavy in the last one I watched, because when you're dealing with what happens to people that age and the pain they go through, especially as an outsider nerd played by older people,
right,
who have the intelligence to really show you what a younger actor doesn't have the understanding usually, except for the few exceptions, to be able to play. I mean, it's not everybody is. Stranger Things, Molly, the star of Stranger Things, not Winona Ryder, but the young girl,
the one who plays Nancy,
everybody's favorite gal.
I only watched 1 season, but I think I know who you mean.
Brown. You know her. You've seen her on everything. You didn't watch Stranger Things?
I watched the first season of Stranger Things.
But then you saw it, so you know who I'm talking about. She's Millie Brown. Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
When I look at a picture of her now, she's a woman.
Yes.
So the show hasn't been on for 2 years, but it's going to be 3 years by the time they're able to do it. And she's just a lovely young woman now. So all these kids are going to be like, it's going to be like Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys. Nobody knows that reference. It's going to be
I do.
Tom Sawyer. No, nobody knows that reference. It's going to be whatever it is. They're grown-ups.
They're growing up. I know.
Yeah.
I love with Pen 15 or Penis, how the 2 leads are in their 30s, but look convincingly teenage. But all the other kids are played by kids.
Yeah, it's really special. And you know what? Since I got my Google out, let me just do it. Let me just tell you their names, because my daughter went to school with one of them, and I asked her about her, Maya.
Maya Erskine or Erskine?
Erskine. And Anna Kunkel is the other adult playing a teenager, sorry. And the kids are good. All the kids are good.
They're so good.
But Maya went to school with my oldest daughter, and it was so nice. I said, I really like this show. And she said, and you know what, Dad? Maya's one of the good ones.
Oh, good.
Meaning what we've watched happen with so many people, that all they cared about was getting in showbiz. And once they finally did, they became even more obnoxious than they were. And I think this time it really is a time people are in check with who they are as a person, especially in a business that has no tolerance for this crap anymore. I mean, everybody's getting called out in a big way for being rude or being evil or whatever, or how they've treated people. And I have no room for it. I've never had any room for it, but I hate that a friend of mine, I had a production designer once that said to me on a thing I was directing, he said, there's an asshole on every movie. I just hope it's not me. And I've been that guy a couple times, and not.
You've been the asshole?
A couple times in my life, and I regret it. But sometimes it was because I couldn't. I was breaking down because there was so much going on, and so much was being done wrong, and so I wanted to fix it, and so it was my fault half the time. It's real hard. You want to go back and do do-overs of behavior and things, and then other times you go, just let it go. Don't have an albatross your whole life.
It's tough when it is, and I have not been in this situation, a ton, but it's like it's your project or your name is on it. My default, I think, as a woman and just as who I am as a woman, and when I was younger, was always to defer. So, you know more about this than me, da da da. So if you think that, I'm gonna let blah blah blah. And the thing, even if my gut was saying something else, and I'm talking about like on projects. So then I would regret that because I would see it and it's like, oh man, I should have spoken up about X, Y, or Z. And in a way, it gave me insight. I understand those people who come onto a set and are just awful and so bossy and so like they don't have time to listen to what amateurs think. Like everyone hates those assholes, but I sort of get it. I think the trick is getting what you want in a kind way.
Yeah, 100%. Or dictating, which isn't good. or if you're at the top of the food chain on a project, it does trickle down. So if everybody's tense and everybody holding a walkie-talkie is freaking out, especially now if someone's lucky enough to work during COVID, which a lot of productions started, and then they get shut down right away because there's an outbreak. And so they have to stop for 2 weeks, isolate people, and then it's ongoing, and then insurance comes in. It's life in the age of COVID. And show business is, some of the $100 million movies are having problems because of that. But you have to be even more kind and more careful. And I think with all that's come out, with all of the cancel culture stuff of behavior has come out, and we always had tricklings of it. We'd see the outtakes of a director yelling at someone and calling them names, and you look at that and go, wow, did you see that? It's really kind of refreshing that people are a little more careful just to have a little bit better manners, because the whole idea of directing, thank you, miss, thank you, sir. No matter who it is, you treat them with whatever address they would like to be treated with, but you treat them properly. And it's so funny when I would read a review or you read something in the New York Times, they always call, Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Saget. And it's like, and then sometimes it's positive, and sometimes it's really funny when some publication, and I've seen it with college newspapers, and I don't get a lot of bad reviews, which is nice, but I used to get only bad reviews. And back in the day, I was like, Mr. Saget did the worst. This is the worst piece of garbage ever. However, Mr. Saget, please just call me shithead at this point. Don't even
flaming
call me Bob.
Turd, courtesy of Sir Saget.
This hot pocket left in a garbage can. But it's really funny that they dignify you and then trash you.
Yeah. No, it's that celebrity culture in one sentence.
It is. And we are, and I hate the word celebrity. The fact that it became, someone's not a writer, not a director, not an actor. They're a celebrity because you get famous from something. Or not a comedian. You're a celebrity. No, I don't cut ribbons at supermarkets. I'm not.
Right.
But if people all know you for whatever reason, but I don't know. It just is weird. It's just a weird word. And that's what came out of the Kardashianism of America. That's what came out of, people being stars off The Real World, or people being stars off of Survivor or The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff. It became, oh, you're a celebrity. Because what do you do? Do you sing?
You're just a personality.
Yeah, and that's what you're selling. And we've always had that, but not as many avenues, because you can literally be a star off of Instagram or TikTok. You can actually become one, get a Netflix show, get, a tour set up if you're any good.
Right.
And that's okay if someone's one of the exceptions. That's amazing. We've seen it a lot.
Yeah. It's a weird time. Well, an extra weird time in a pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah. It's viral and viral.
Bob, it was so nice basically spending the day with you, because I was on your show and then we recorded mine. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much. Tell everyone what to look. Obviously, they should be listening to Bob Saget's Here For You, but tell them what to look out for. Do your plugs.
Well, when this is running, we are either right before or right after October 18th. is the Scleroderma Research Foundation benefit. You'll be able to see it on there, I believe, afterward, but it's live on October 18th, and you can register to see all the comedians: Bill Burr, Ray Romano, Jeff Garland, John Stamos, not a comedian, but he's handsome. Music by John Mayer, Pat Monahan, Kelly Clarkson, and Regina Hall's on it, and Queen Latifah. It's just loaded with just wonderful people. Joel McHale rips me apart. Bill Burr really hurts me. Jeff Ross is very funny. Ken Jeong is a sweetheart.
Did you guys do it virtually?
We
or will you? I mean,
will, and I did. It is. It's whatever tense you'd like because of the podcast realm, but it is a thing that I was live in a studio with Susan Feniger of the Top Chef world and Border Grill and Two Hot Tamales, and she's an angel, and we've been on the board for over 30 years. Oh, I haven't been on the board for over 30 years, but I've hosted the events for over 30 years. And it's all we usually do the events live with wonderful people. Dave Chappelle did it last year in Los Angeles with Ken Jeong and John Mayer, and it was amazing. It was just so fantastic. I think Stamos also, yes. And so this is the virtual version where I was live in a studio at 5 o'clock on Sunday. The 18th is when it was. And then on an East Coast would be 8 o'clock. And so I was live, and then everything was fed in. So it was a real television show produced by myself and the great Joe Gallen.
Nice.
Of famous television show Emmy fame.
Yes.
And so that's an important thing and a cause that's dear to me. And I've got a bunch of projects. I'm on the show probably right now. I Can See Your Voice, which is on Fox, Ken Jeong's new show. So I'm one of the panelists on there, and I loved it. I did a couple of those. I did a couple other things I can't talk about, and then I did a couple. I'm do a couple things that there's no point in talking about because it's all COVID dependent. So I'm COVID dependent. I'm so COVID dependent.
I mean, you should work on that.
Yeah, I'm going to turn that into something. I don't know what, because COVID isn't funny if you got it.
But right, it's not, but COVID dependent.
Unless you're invincible, it just bounces off some people.
It does seem that way. I mean, anyway, thank you so much for listening, everyone. Listen to
everybody.
Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Listen to Childish. If you like what you're hearing, subscribe. No, I've been doing this for 600 years.
You subscribe, you rate, review.
And download. You rate,
and
review, download.
Right. Or comment and download.
Yeah.
You definitely want to subscribe or follow and download. You want to download. It's free because it's where you get your podcasts.
Download wherever you get your... And also watch youtube.com/Alison Rosen. I'm on Patreon, patreon.com/Alison Rosen. I'm on Cameo. Are you on Cameo?
I am. I do charitable stuff for that, and I'm surprised how many people ask me to do things that are like, that's a commercial. I can't do the commercial,
right.
But I can say happy anniversary, Melvin and Millie.
Yeah.
You know, that's always nice. Or success to you guys during quarantine kind of thing. That's nice.
I can also say... Whatever Bob won't do, I'll do. So come hit me. Just kidding.
Well, it's really weird when they say, would you say this? You start reading the copy and it's like Chevy trucks are the best truck. You know, it's
right.
like, wait a minute.
Like they did a real end run around your reps.
Right. If you want me to do a Chevy truck ad, there better be one in my driveway.
Well, I've been lucky. I have not been asked to do anything questionable. I've just been asked to congratulate someone.
So much questionable. I get things that are like, because of my comedy, it's like, rip me a new one, just say this and that. We're having a non-mask party. We're going to.
Oh, God.
I'm like, what?
Oh, no.
I can't do that.
I just get my wife has been super mom lately and she loves your show. Could you tell her congratulations? Or
that's
my
nicest.
Husband's birthday is coming
right.
up. He loves your show. Could you give him a happy birthday message? It's so
that
easy.
makes me so happy. And it's so sweet.
Yeah.
And please don't talk dirty, I get. And then, hi, Sarah, I know you're 6, but yes, I was Danny Tanner. And then they'll be like, hey Jimmy, when you're with the boys on that virtual bachelor party, don't forget to, it's like, and if they posted it, I just go the hell with it. It's what they asked me to do. It's, but I don't want everyone seeing them.
So there you go. We're both on Cameo. I'm cameo.com/Alison Rosen. I'm going to assume you're cameo.com/Bob Saget.
Yes, that would be it.
Follow me on social media at Alison Rosen.
Follow her everywhere. Just follow her. If she leaves the house, follow
That's right.
her.
I'm gonna be heading out pretty soon. I'll see you there. Thank you again, Bob. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen Show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go. Yeah, Alison Rosen.